Hi, this is my case study on internet use violations. What is the problem? Was the first question. What I know is Dr. Forbes is a very well-respected administrator at Roosevelt High School. Roosevelt High School is a very prestigious school in an affluent area of a large city. Miss Walker is an older new teacher in the building. She has high expectations and has high academic standards of her students. Ms. Walker has not carried out any suggestions for improvement that were given to her by her administrator. Someone has sent Ms. Walker a message directing her to a website that contains suggestive comments with vulgar language targeting her both personally and professionally. And Dr. Forbes wants Ms. Walker and him to speak with a potential student and friends to find out who may have developed the website. What I need to understand is what is the student population at Roosevelt High School, because at a larger high school, it's more difficult for teachers and administrators to get to know individual students very well. So I would wonder who had information about the students involved. Is the district that Roosevelt High School a part of a one-to-one technology district? Because I thought that it made a difference in the stakes if the devices are personal or district issued. Are there curriculum mats for all the courses? Because that makes it clear what teachers should be teaching and approximately when in the year it should be taught. And then, are there district policies related to this type of behavior? I believe the problem is, one aspect is we have a teacher who has upset students and their families with the rigor of her classes and her high expectations. We also have an established administrator who is very well respected by parents and is focused on maintaining his reputation as principal of the very prestigious school. And we have someone who has created a website with highly suggestive comments using vulgar language regarding Miss Walker personally and professionally, ending with "Who wants Miss Walker to disappear?" What do we do and how do we do it? My plan of action would be first to evaluate the seriousness of the threat. Is anyone in immediate danger? Do the police need to be involved? Was there a breach of an acceptable use policy? And we need to determine if there was a malicious threat. Second, investigate the situation. I would take statements from the teacher and potential students to gather facts related to the incident. Student statements need to include descriptions of intent, and then contact parents to apprise them of the situation. And then third, determine what consequences will be imposed and or what information will be disseminated. Will there be disciplinary actions against the student or students? Will there be an evaluation plan or professional development plan for Ms. Walker? And implement lessons on internet safety and cyberbullying into an advisory hour. As far as implementing the plan, evaluating the seriousness, first I would call the parents to let them know of the situation and that I'm investigating. Determine if there was an immediate threat to Miss Walker and if the police need to be involved. There should be analysis of the components of the acceptable use policy while evaluating the website, and then perhaps pull in the IT people to determine where the site was created and by whom. As far as investigating, I would converse with Ms. Walker to get a timeline of possible events leading up to the situation. Converse with the student mentioned as well as other students who may have direct knowledge of background information specific to the website or the intentions, and speak with other teachers of the suspected student to help gain insight into the situation. Continuing to implement the plan and any possible consequences for the student may be, it will be determined by the facts of the investigation whether they are legal or school-based. And after fact-finding and investigation, is there a case for malicious intent? And is there harassment, or is it a case of free speech? If a school device was used, the student may lose the device because of failure to follow the acceptable use policy. And does the website creator have an IEP? Because that will determine differences in consequences. Consequences for the teacher. We would come up with a prescriptive professional development plan to make sure curriculum is being implemented appropriately. Provide some professional development around relationship building, and set Ms. Walker up with a teacher mentor. And as far as promoting success of students, what is best for students would be the resolution promotes academic success for students by including professional development for Ms. Walker to clarify curriculum expectations. Resolution promotes the well-being of students by educating them about the risks of putting information on the internet and its lasting impact. And resolution brings the procedure for dealing with complaints to the forefront, and that lets students know that they will be heard when they follow appropriate procedures. My reflection, my thoughts, feelings, and values. I think that my thoughts and feelings are all over the place because of my values and professional beliefs. I do feel empathetic toward Miss Walker because she did not seem to have her feelings heard, and no one should be treated like that. I feel like the principal downplayed the situation at first because of his concern for maintaining his reputation. I feel empathetic toward the students because it is frustrating for them to have expectations that they feel they may never meet. I think that Ms. Walker has taken to heart some of the suggestions, or if Ms. Walker had taken to heart some of the suggestions she had been offered, perhaps the situation would not have happened. Some unresolved issues that I thought about were, what are the board policies of this district? What are the acceptable use guidelines? And what are the policies on harassment and bullying policies? Should there be revisions to existing policies? And is Ms. Walker still teaching? And what steps has she taken to become a more effective teacher? As far as demonstrating integrity and ethical behavior, as an administrator, I demonstrated a sense of integrity by following procedural guidelines and school policies pertaining to the situation. I gathered and analyzed all the facts of the situations that were available while maintaining the confidentiality and dignity of all persons involved to the best of my ability. And I feel that I took into account all of the facts before imposing fair and non-judgmental consequences and/or plans of action. As an administrator, I treated people fairly, equitably, and with dignity and respect by gathering information confidentially without sharing information unnecessarily. I made sure all parties were listened to and heard while reserving judgment, and I did not issue any consequences before completely researching the situation. I participated in a constructive dialogue with both student and teacher to gather facts and help make decisions. I listened and made decisions based on the facts discovered and without judgment. I believe I portrayed a sense of trust and acceptance by valuing what people involved reported and acting in accordance. And that was my analysis of the case study of internet use violations.